Hello and welcome to Happy Cloud Solutions YouTube channel. Today we'll be looking at roles in IT, the certifications required to attain those roles, available IT jobs in 2024. So basically, to get the available IT jobs in 2024, I used Seek Australia, and that's because I'm situated in Australia, so I kind of streamlined it to Australia. But I mean, having an idea of how much is available in Australia, you can imagine how much more will be available in America or Canada or other countries. Okay, so now through this analysis, I realized that the security engineer has the highest amount of available roles as at March 2024, and it was around 5,000, followed by the IT account manager, which was 4,000, and then there's the IT manager, which is about 3,000. But I mean, you don't have to put those numbers in your head right now because as we go through the, you know, slides and the video, you're going to see how much that each of these, roles, how much spot is available for these roles in the market. Okay, so let's get right to it. So the first one we'll be looking at is the IT leader. So the roles and the responsibility of an IT leader in a company, they can vary based on the organization size, structure, and industry. However, some common roles and responsibilities include strategic planning. So here, basically, you develop and align IT strategies with overall business objectives. You also identify and prioritize technology initiatives that support organization goals. The next one is to lead and manage the IT team. Okay, so you're going to do this to ensure that you're fostering a positive and collaborative work environment. You would also help in recruiting, training, and developing IT staff to ensure, a skilled and effective team. There's also technology infrastructure management, manage budgeting and resource allocation. There's vendor management. There's the fact that you also have to oversee IT projects. You don't necessarily have to know the in-depth details of what's going on, but it's more like at least once in a week, everybody that reports to you comes to give you an account of what has been going on in the project. Okay. So then there's innovation and technology adoption. So obviously, as an IT leader, you have to have an understanding of the new technologies in the market. You have to stay abreast of emerging technologies and assess their potential impact on the organization. You have to also be able to advocate for the adoption of new technologies that enhance efficiency and competitiveness in the market. And then you also have to be able to collaborate with stakeholders. You collaborate with the business leaders to understand their technology needs and challenges. So you then communicate these IT strategies and projects to your department so you can meet your KPIs and the goal of the company for that year or for that quarter, whatever it may be. The required skills just basically aligns with the responsibilities, which are you have to have leadership skills, team management, project management, broad technical knowledge. That's like I said, based on the technologies that are used in your company, you have to, if you're using something like Azure, AWS, Active Directory, Windows, Linux, you have to be able to, have the technical knowledge to manage those systems, all right? Then also communication skills, vendor management. So as an IT leader, you would have to, you know, liaise with vendors. Like if you're in a company that wants to set up a FortiGate firewall, you should be able to liaise with the FortiGate company to buy licenses or like even buy the servers, the actual hardware servers, depending on what you want. So that's what I mean by vendor management. If you're working with Salesforce and you want to buy licenses for your team, you reach out to the Salesforce team, things like that. And there's business acumen, ethical decision making, obviously, as a leader. So then the job titles that align with this role are IT managers, IT directors, IT supervisors, team leaders, and so much more. So then, like I said earlier on, the the search for the available jobs was based on the data provided by Seek in March 2024, and the location that I chose was all of Australia. Okay, and as at March 2024, we have 3,372 jobs available. So that's a lot, right? So if in Australia alone, there are like 3,000 people who are able to do these roles, then there should be job for everybody. So whatever you're doing, just ensure that you know the right certification, skills, and soft skills also like communication, the things you need to know to be able to attain these roles. So get on board with them. And that brings us to the next slide, which talks about the certification. So as an IT leader, like I said, it also depends on your organization. But these are some of like the top certifications that you probably want to have as an IT leader. There's project management professionals, there's ITIL Foundation, there's so the IT Foundation is valuable for IT managers that are involved in IT service management. Okay. And the ITIL Foundation introduces best practices for service delivery and support. Then CISA basically means Certified Information Systems Auditor. Okay, and it's relevant for IT managers in auditing roles. So CISA certification demonstrates skills in information systems audit, control, and security. Then there's the Cisco Certified Network Associate, CCNA. This is also for IT managers who oversee networking operations. Okay, so this CCNA certification would validate your knowledge of networking fundamentals. There's also the Microsoft Certified Azure Solutions Architect Expert, and it's basically for IT managers working with Microsoft Azure, and it demonstrates expertise in designing and implementing solutions on the Azure platform. So, like I said, it's based on the organization you're working with. You might need more, you might need less. So you just have to know. Most times, what I advise people to do is whatever job you want, go on platforms like Seek, Indeed, look for those roles, then check for what are their requirements. you know, then check maybe like 10 of them, then start planning yourself. If you have maybe 6 months or 1 year to maybe get ready for these roles, ensure that you're able to meet all the key selection criteria. That's how to plan ahead for your dream job, your dream role. Okay, so moving forward, let's look at IT account manager. So the responsibilities of an IT account manager revolve around, building and maintaining strong relationship with clients, understanding their IT needs, and ensuring the successful delivery of products or services. So here is a list of common responsibilities for an IT account manager in a company. Not limited to this, trust me, there is still more. But these are like some of the important ones. Okay. So there's client relationship management. So obviously you're an IT account manager. So you have to deal with clients. You have to, reach out to, new clients, contact them to be able to, you're more like the main point of contact for your company. So you have to be able to relate with your customers. So you also have to understand the client needs, gain a deep understanding of the client's business goals and IT requirements. You also have to be able to identify opportunities for upselling because you need to make money for your company, or cross-selling based on the client's needs. Then account planning is also important, client communication, contract negotiation and renewals, because of course you have to be able to negotiate contract terms and agreements with clients. You have to be able to manage contract renewals and ensure the retention of clients. So there's also sales support. You have to be able to collaborate with the sales team to identify new business opportunities within existing accounts, and also support the sales process by providing technical expertise and addressing client needs. So because you're working in an IT firm, some of the required skills would be that you have technical knowledge of the product being sold, because you can't sell what you don't know. If you're going to sell me that, oh, I should come to your company, we are a cloud service provider, we host your services for you in our Azure platform, you have to be able to explain to me how you can use a virtual machine to reduce the needs of you to buy servers. And then, like, if you have maybe a storage, maybe some native file servers in your environment, you can also bring it to Azure storage account. Or if it's AWS you're using, you can move it to AWS S3 buckets. Things like that. You have to have the technical knowledge of the product being sold. Then relationship building, very important. Okay, you are a salesperson. You have to be able to make your customers happy, because you're not the only one in the market. There are other people out there that are trying to take the business from you. So then you also have to be results oriented, because as a sales manager you have KPIs that you have to meet and things like that. Also emotional intelligence, you have to understand like the needs of your customers. So what are the roles or the job titles you can find in this field? There's IT account manager, there's client success manager, there's IT relationship executive, there's sales manager, and so on and so forth. So now, according to Seek Australia, in March 2024, there is 4,153 jobs that are related to the IT account manager. That's a lot, right? So that means you don't even need to like have coding knowledge, programming skills to be able to get into this IT field. Like just know the basics. And the thing is, Happy Cloud Solutions provides, you know, most of these basic trainings like AWS Cloud Professionals, Azure Cloud Fundamentals, those things that you need to know to be able to get started in that field. Like you don't need to write Python, you don't need to write C++. Just you have no excuse to get into all these areas, okay? And then you also build like your sales um skills and your sales knowledge. So talking about certifications, these are some of the certifications, but like I said, before pursuing any certification, before even pursuing any job, it's good to go see the requirements of the role and plan ahead. Okay? If you're looking at companies like, um Microsoft, AWS, all the big cloud providers, then you will be looking at taking cloud fundamental courses, okay? Because you have to have an understanding of those tools and products, okay? So then there's certified sales professionals, there's sales cloud consultants, and this one is provided by Salesforce. Then there's Azure Fundamentals provided by Microsoft, there's Cloud Practitioner provided by AWS. And like I said, Harpy Cloud Solution provides this training. So if you're ready to get started with your IT journey, just click the link in the comment section that says get started with your journey. It helps you to, start like it's a so the one for cloud fundamentals is a 1 month program. So that means if you're already a salesperson today, you have at most 2 months to be able to start applying for these roles. Because if you come to Happy Cloud Solutions program, we do 1 month training. After 1 month, you're literally ready to write the certification. You might decide to take another maybe 2 weeks to get yourself ready, and then you then take the certification. Then you're ready. You start applying for these roles. So what is stopping you? What is stopping you? There is nothing in 2024. Go with full force to attain your goals. Okay, we're already in March. So now the next one we'll be looking at is the IT help desk. All right. Hello, viewers. My name is Kachi. This is a short break just to urge and ask you to like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. This channel is used to bring educative videos that are relevant in the information technology world. We bring videos on web development, cloud computing, DevOps, and even artificial intelligence (AI). But the videos are not just limited to that. We also provide videos as they are relevant to the community. We ask that you support us through your likes and subscription. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you as part of our subscribers. Now, let's get back to business. As an IT help desk, you're responsible for providing end user support. So you provide technical assistance and support to end users either via phone, email, or in person. You're also responsible to troubleshoot and resolve hardware, software, and network issues. There's also ticket management. Now, this is where like you have to be acquainted with the technology that your organization is using. For example, some companies use Jira for ticket management. Some companies use ServiceNow. So like it's always dependent on what technology they are using. But if you know how to use one, it's pretty much almost the same thing. Okay. So with ticket management, you use that to log, prioritize, and track user reported issues using the ticketing system. Like I said, like Jira, ServiceNow. So part of the responsibilities also include software installation and configuration, password reset and access management, hardware deployment, remote desktop support, and so on and so forth. So I mean, when it comes to password reset and access management, you have to be able to assist users with resetting their account passwords, any issues they have with accessing their, you know, accounts, whether is permission is issue or access right. You should be able to help them resolve that. And then there's hardware deployment when it comes to setting up and deploying of desktops, laptops, and any other peripherals for new employees or even for office relocations. Okay, so required skills also include, technical proficiency depending on the technology you're using in your organization, customer service skills because you'll be communicating with people. Your role is basically to serve others as an IT help desk. And then there's familiarity with ITO principles, there's problem solving skills, active listening because there's no way you can solve a problem that you don't really know, and then technical documentation because whenever you solve a problem, you always have to do something called an RCA where you do, an analysis of what happened, why it happened, and then what you did to actually resolve that issue. So you have to have like skills in writing down technical documentations. So now regarding the job titles in this area, there's the help desk technician, there's the service desk analyst, there's the user assistant specialist, end user support specialist, and so on and so forth. Like it's not in any way limited to any of these ones on the screen. Okay, so now still based on March 2024 SIC Australia data compilation, for IT help desk, I found 1,164 jobs. Okay. So as you can see on the search bar, the keyword that I use is IT help desk and just for Australia. And the job roles range from IT help desk officer to service desk agent to level one to level two help desk technician and so on and so forth. So there's still room for you if you don't want to be, an IT account manager or an IT manager or even an IT, supervisor, you can be an IT help desk because 1,164 jobs is quite a lot. There's room for you. So, what certifications do you need to function in these roles? So, they are not limited to any of these ones, but you need Microsoft Office 365 because, like most organizations, for their administrations, they use, you know, O365. That's if you're using things like Outlook, PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Teams, those things for you to be able to, you know, be an admin for them or even support them, you should have a certain amount of knowledge, and to show competence you can get a Microsoft Office 365 certification. There's also the ITO Foundation, there's the CompTIA Security and Networking. So like I said before, always look at the job role and requirements to see what they actually require. So like I said, before you desire to apply for a role, you must have done your research, even maybe 6 months back, and you can see like, oh, this is the area that I want to go to, and these are the certifications that they require. You know, go to places like Seek, Indeed, all these job platforms, look at the requirements, look at the key selection criteria, and get yourself ready. So the next one we'll be looking at is IT administrators. These guys are like almost similar to the IT help desk, but they have more responsibilities. So, for example, there's network administration. So, in this case, you're going to configure, manage, and troubleshoot network devices such as routers, switches, and firewall. And you have to ensure network security and monitor for any unauthorized access or unusual activities. So, unlike IT help desk, where you're, you know, taking in tickets, communicating with clients, customers to understand, the issues that they're having and trying to resolve it. An IT admin does even much more. An IT admin can also serve as maybe a tier three or tier four support, but like they do more of, the configuration of the actual IT infrastructure. So then another responsibility is system administration. Here you do things like installing, configuring, and maintaining servers. Then there's the operating systems that you also have to manage, the software applications, the things that you use in your environment. You also do things like perform routine system updates, patches, and upgrades for the application or software or operating system that you're using. Normally, there's something called Patch Tuesday when it comes to Microsoft when they release their patches. So you can say, okay, a week after Patch Tuesday, I'm going to patch all the servers in my organization. So things like that you do as a system admin. So other responsibilities include user account management, security administration, hardware maintenance, email system management, and so on and so forth. And just like the rest, you have to have technical proficiency in for the products or the tools or the environment that you're working in. You also have to be able to understand end user support because I said, sometimes the IT admin also serve as tier three or tier four level support. So you have to be able to liaise with customers or clients and make them feel, confident in your ability to solve their problems. So then there's Active Directory management, networking knowledge, Windows or Linux administration, depending on the organization that you're in. Most organizations use Windows, so you should be able to administer Windows to, you know, administer Windows systems basically. And then obviously, because you're going to be communicating with people, you need communication skills. The job titles here are things like IT administrator, system administrator, network administrator, security admin, Active Directory admin, and so on and so forth. Like I said before, it's not limited to this role, so you have the ability to even do much more. So as of March 2024, SIG Australia had 498 jobs related to IT administrator. This seems a little bit, on the low side compared to the other ones that we've seen. But I mean, based on the keyword that I put, which is IT administrator, we have 498 jobs. And the roles that were there, ranged from IT system admin to IT security admin and even to, retail system admin. So, like I said, there are different opportunities for you to diverse. And now, how do you gain competence in this area? There are some certifications that are, recognized for this purpose. There's the networking fundamentals of Microsoft. There's the Windows Server Administration fundamentals. Remember, I said you should be able to administer Windows or Linux systems. Okay, there's also the Linux Foundation. That's the for you to get the certified systems admin. So you can get any of these certifications. It might not be compulsory for your role. Like I said, it depends on the job. It depends on the environment. You just have to, confirm that what you want to do, aligns with the culture of the company and the kind of tools they use. So now another role is a developer. So the responsibilities of a developer can vary depending on the specific role, industry, and technology stack. However, there are common responsibilities associated with developer, and some of them are listed here, which is software development. So here you write clean, efficient, and maintainable code. You develop software applications or components based on project requirements. Then there's also programming skills. You have to have proficiency in programming languages that is relevant to the tech stack that is used in the organization, be it Java, Python, JavaScript, C Sharp, C++, whatever it may be. So you have to also stay updated in programming languages and best practices. There's also problem solving skills, there's code optimization, managing and tracking changes in code, testing, API development, and so on and so forth. And the required skills for this role, I'm sure you guessed right, is the programming knowledge. So whatever, sometimes you don't have to know all the programming languages. You can choose, okay, you want to do Python, Java, and maybe or you want to do Java, C++. It's like you do not necessarily have to be competent in all of the languages, okay? But at least you have to know one or two. So then you also have to have problem solving skills. As an IT person, I believe, you should be able to solve problems. You should be able to troubleshoot. You should be able to identify errors and find resolutions to them. So there's also the knowledge of version control systems, because now in organizations they are adopting the agile approach, the agile methodology. So we're using things like GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, things like that. You need to be able to use those kind of systems, and then ability to use APIs. Okay, and then the job titles in this role are like software developers, system architects, lead API developer, and so much more. So now the available jobs, still based on Seek Australia, March 2024. There's 286 jobs that is related to IT developer. As you can see, the exact keyword that I put in is IT developer. And you can see roles like senior software developer, Salesforce developer, lead API developer, to even platform or service lead. Okay. So these are some of the available roles that are currently online. So now, how do you certify yourself to get yourself ready for these roles? So there's the IBM Full Stack Software Developer certificate. There's also the Microsoft 365 Certified Developer Associate. There's the AWS Certified Developer Associate also. So what does that organization use? Most organizations, they either use Azure or they use AWS. Some of them also adopt Google, But then some also have like the hybrid approach where some departments are using AWS, some departments are using Azure. So it would be nice to kind of like have a, you know, an understanding of how these cloud platforms work. So now we move to the other one, which is the DevOps engineer. So, I mean, the DevOps engineer is responsible for things like managing infrastructure as code, because most of the things you're going to be writing is it's not going to be GUI based. Like you're going to be using tools like Terraform, Cloud Formation to define and manage infrastructure as code and to automate the provisioning and configuration of your infrastructure. So you should also be able to implement and maintain CI/CD pipelines. Okay, you should be able to use tools like Jenkins, Ansible, Chef, Puppet to ensure that your deployment process is rapid and reliable. So you should be able to automate and manage infrastructure configuration, support integration of DevOps practices, set up monitoring solutions, optimize version control system, and so on and so forth. Just so for you to note, Happy Cloud Solutions, on this YouTube channel, we have a DevOps series, okay, where we go through all the DevOps tools and actual demonstrations of how to use them. So, that's a very good place for you to start. And then it wraps it up with like, a DevOps project that shows an entirety of how to use these tools. And the required skills are, competence using DevOps tools, like I mentioned. So tools like Jenkins, tools like Docker, tools like Kubernetes, you have to know how to use things like that. Knowledge of version control systems like GitHub, GitLab, Bitbucket, containerization knowledge. That means you know how to use Docker, you know how to use things like Azure Container Registries, you know how to use Docker Hub, Kubernetes, things like that. And if you want training on that, Happy Cloud Solutions also provide such trainings. So you also have to have knowledge of using various cloud platforms, because like most times this employers want to deploy their code either to Azure, AWS, Google, IBM, Oracle, whatever platform they choose. And job titles are DevOps engineer, senior cloud engineer, builds engineer, and so on and so forth. All right. So still based on Seek Australia, we have 1,708 jobs that are related to the title DevOps. So there's a lot for you to do. Just start a course today in DevOps, and you have 1,788 jobs and even more waiting for you when you are done. Hello, viewers. My name is Kachi. This is a short break just to urge and ask you to like this video and subscribe to this YouTube channel. This channel is used to bring educative videos that are relevant in the information technology world. We bring videos on web development, cloud computing, DevOps, and even artificial intelligence (AI). But the videos are not just limited to that. We also provide videos as they are relevant to the community. We ask that you support us through your likes and subscription. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you as part of our subscribers. Now, let's get back to business. The IT certification required to show competence in this role as a DevOps engineer are Microsoft DevOps Engineer Expert, AWS DevOps Engineer Professional, GCP Cloud DevOps Engineer. But then it's not limited to this, but these are three of the most sought after currently in the market. So, I keep sounding this. If you want training in this area, Happy Cloud Solutions provides training for Microsoft DevOps engineer, and we can also make trainings available for AWS and GCP at your request. So you can always reach out to us. The next one now is IT security engineer. Okay, the role of an IT security engineer is critical in safeguarding an organization's digital assets, data, and infrastructure from cyber threats. Here are like common responsibilities associated with the role of an IT security engineer. And the interesting thing was that the security engineer was one of like the top, the highest available roles at in SEEK, like with 5,000 over 5,000 available jobs just in Australia. So you can imagine what it would be in other countries like America, Canada, London, and so on. So now, what are the responsibilities? You have to have, you know, you have to be able to design infrastructures that are secure. Okay, you have to be able to design, implement, and maintain security architecture systems. Okay, and you have to be able to provide processes to protect organization assets, because you'll be the point of contact when maybe an IT admin team or even a DevOps team want to implement a particular security approach or method into their solution. They'll reach out to you and say, kindly review this and let me know what you think from a security perspective. So you should be able to have the knowledge of designing security solutions that meet security best practices. Okay, yeah. So you have to ensure that they're in line with industry standards and also compliance requirements. Then you also have to have network security skills. And because you're also going to be responsible for network security, I mean, for them to be a cyber attack is definitely going to be over a network. So you have to be able to understand the network, the whole configuration, in order to support it. So you'll be working with things like firewalls, routers, switches, because you have to be able to configure and monitor them for firewall intrusions and malicious attack. Okay, you have to also be able to implement secure network architectures and protocols. So you're going to be responsible for endpoint security. Here, you basically deploy and manage endpoint protection solutions, including antivirus software, endpoint detection, and response. And then you're also going to be able to use things like the mobile device management systems. Then there's the identity and access management system. Basically, how do people access your environment? Do they have authorization? How do they authenticate? Things like that. Then you're going to do things regarding vulnerability management and security monitoring and analytics. Definitely, they are not limited to this. They are so much more as a security engineer. The required skills, like I said earlier, you're going to need competence in network security. You have to be able to understand results of security assessment, because one of the things you're going to do is to carry out assessments. Okay, you're going to run vulnerability reports. You're going to do data scans on your environment. When this is done, a report is going to be generated. What do you understand in this report? How can you look at this report and say, I see a trend that doesn't look normal? All right. So you have to be able to read and understand security assessment. So technical knowledge of platform being secured. Sometimes you're going to be employed as an IT security engineer in a firm that uses just Azure, or in a firm that uses AWS. So you have to be able to understand the underlying architecture of AWS or Azure, or just that environment that you're working in, to be able to understand how to contribute from a security perspective. All right. Sometimes also the products might just be M365 products. That's Microsoft 365. You have to be able to understand, how do people access or your resources. So then you have to be able to use security tools like Wireshark. So Wireshark is basically a tool that can be able to monitor your packets. It's a software that is being installed on your system, and then you basically run it when you want to monitor traffic either on a particular port or um, web interface. So now the job titles in this area are like cloud security engineers, security awareness and training coordinator. So in this part, you're just kind of like delivering trainings and making people aware of, online attacks and things like that. So then there's also incident response analyst. So to the available jobs, still based on March 2024, SIC Australia, there's 5,688 jobs that are related to IT security. That's like a lot. So if you're looking to go into like the IT field, this is also something you can consider. But I mean, like, for people that just come from maybe an art background or a science background, not really technical, I want to jump into security. I see that as an issue, because a very important place to start is to understand networking. Like, you actually have to go and do things like CCNA certifications and things like that. Like, you should understand the underlying, you know, what networking is all about. Like, what do you understand by IP addressing? What do you understand by, when you see a MAC address, how do you understand what a MAC address is? Do you understand what an IP address is? Do you know what it means to when someone says a site to site VPN. What would you even know what if virtual private network is? Things like that. You have to understand networking because most of what you're going to do is on the internet, and internet uses these are network services. Okay, so for you to be a security engineer, there's a lot of learning that has to go in for you to be someone that is not just called a security engineer, but someone who is excelling in your field. All right. So then, what are the certifications? So these are like the certifications required in organizations that use cloud platforms. Okay, like there's Azure Security Engineer, there's AWS, there's Google Cloud Security Engineer. But like I said, there's still more. It's important that you have an underlying knowledge of networking. So I'll also recommend CCNA. So you understand, you get the whole background for networking. Okay, not to fret. It's something that when you just have to start. When you start, you would grow with it. And then the last role we'll be looking at is cloud architect. So the role of a cloud architect is to design, plan, and oversee the implementation of cloud solutions for an organization. Okay. So the cloud architects are responsible for creating scalable, secure, and efficient cloud infrastructure to meet business requirements. And some of the common responsibilities associated with the role of a cloud architect are cloud strategy development. Here you define and develop the organization's cloud strategy aligned with business goals. All right. Then there's system design and architecture, cloud service selection, security architecture, scalability and performance planning, data management and storage design, network architecture, and of course optimizations, because I mean these days organizations are trying to cost. You have to provide architectures that have the best cost, you know, the best cost option. Because normally, as an architect, when you design a solution, you also provide the cost implications. Okay. And when it comes to places like Azure, there's something called Azure Pricing Calculator. There's also AWS Pricing Calculator, where you can actually estimate the cost even before you start using that environment. All right. And Happy Cloud Solution provides certification to become a cloud architect. And that can be done roughly within 2 months. Okay. And you're already like your cloud architect already. You're ready to go hit your industry and excel. Anyways, that's by the way. The required skills are definitely expertise in at least one major cloud platform, then the ability to design scalable, secure, and highly available cloud architectures. You have to have a deep understanding of cloud networking concepts, because I mean, you can actually have a design where they say my my workers are working from home, they need to access the cloud application from their laptop, but then it's the server, because it can be a hybrid situation, and they say, oh, the server is sitting in their office. Okay, and that server contains a particular legacy application that they need people working from home to be able to access. In things like that, now you start thinking of point to site VPN, how you create a private network where only people from the organization can access it. So things like that, you need an understanding of networking and all that. So then there's implementation of monitoring and logging solutions, because of course you can't always be looking at the system 24/7. You need something to be able to alert you when something's about to go wrong or when something goes wrong. So I mean, it's always better to do proactive monitoring than reactive monitoring. So proactive is when you find things out before they go wrong, but reactive is it has already happened and you're trying to resolve it. So some job titles under this are cloud security architect, cloud solutions architect, cloud monitoring and operations engineer, and so much more. So for this, I looked at two roles on Seek, because if you have knowledge as a cloud architect, then you should be able to function as a cloud engineer also. So that's why for this I looked for both cloud engineer and cloud architect. So there's 954 jobs under cloud engineer, and there's 564 jobs under cloud architect. Okay. And then what is the certifications? So, because of these are like the cloud providers that are mostly used, you will need to either get from AWS, Azure, Oracle, Google Cloud, either be a sysops admin, an Azure admin associate, a certified professional for Oracle, a cloud architect for Google Cloud. So, I mean, there's so much more, but this is a very good starting point, for people that are looking to move into the IT field. I hope you found this helpful. And from here, you've been able to make a decision on how to start. I can tell you, for one, a good decision is to click on the link that says get started with your IT journey. Go to Happy Cloud Solutions website page and select a training that you want to do. And these are very affordable prices. Okay. And I mean, like I said, if you're ready to start your IT journey, Happy Cloud Solution will provide these trainings for you. You can always reach out to us via the contact us form on our website. The link is provided on the screen here, or you can send us an email at hcstutors at harpycloudsolutions.com. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let us continue doing what we're doing. See you in the next video.